So today on Sports File, we're taking a very affectionate look at probably be one of the most important baseball card series of the 1970s, the psychedelic 1972 Topps baseball set. Now, this is not to be confused with the OPG version of the set. When I was a kid growing up in Gravel Hill, New Brunswick, I got most of my 1972 baseball cards from the OPG set, which was 525 cards. And there's a reason. Topps at the time would put out cards in series at 132 cards each, and of course 792 cards couldn't really fit any OPG budget at the time, so I only started collecting the Topps version years later when it became available to me. And it's a beautiful set, and it stands out for many reasons. It had psychedelic fronts, like I said, were kind of reflective of some of the album covers at the time. And if you look closely at the front of the cards, some very, very great photography, very few action shots, but you don't know if the player is a pitcher, an infielder, an outfielder, a manager. It's that indistinct. But it's usually your standard spring training shots. You had backgrounds, some of the locations in Florida, California, and for me, it really hits a lot of levels because it is the last set to feature a Roberto Clemente card when he was still alive. It features some of the last cards of Willie Mays and Hank Aaron. It has the Carlton Fisk rookie. It has Nolan Ryan's first card as a California Angel, or Los Angeles Angel, whatever you want to call it. And there's cards of the players as youth, like youth photos of them. There's many manager cards, like I said. There's rookie cards galore. There's team leader cards. There's also National American League Championship Series and the World Series cards. But for me, as a fan of the 1970s Oakland A's, a lot of the old-fashioned A's jerseys and players are featured in the 72 set. The old powder blue Montreal Expo cards are quite interesting. And some of the traditional jerseys like the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Tigers is very distinct. Now, that set is what you call a living set, and it was one of the final times through the years that Topps would create kind of a reflective in the off season who was traded, who retired. And what's really interesting too, the higher series had a traded mini set where certain key players were dumped off to teams at the start of the season, and here they were in their uniforms with a massive traded logo 3/4 of the way down of the card. Now, the subsets for the traded are the most valuable of the set because you had Frank Robinson, Joe Morgan, Steve Carlton, Jim Fregosi. I have the Denny, I have the McLean one. It's quite interesting, but we often underrate this set because it was a very simple design. Actually, it was a design that was reused years later for the Charlie's Angels non-sport set. Anybody that grew up in the early 70s recognizes these cards right away because the colorful borders, the large script on the bottom, and again the lack of action shots other than the in-action cards. That's how it worked back then. With Topps, they showed action shots in the in-action cards for the players. For example, I have the Willie Mays. My aunt Julian gave it to me many years ago, and they're very, not say bad action photography, but not the best in the world. Very grainy, long range shots, not like the professional photography we see now. But the set is close to a lot of people's hearts because if you became a sports athlete in the 80s after being a young kid, these were the cards that you put on your bikes, cards that you pasted on your bedroom wall, maybe kept in an old-fashioned a hockey card or baseball card box that was available from OPG. Now the set itself, it's not say it's inexpensive, but for $1,000 American you could probably get the complete set in mint condition. And if you go on eBay in different locations, good to very good is going to set you back about 50 cents to $1 a card. And if you're, like I said, if you're a Yankee fan, a Red Sox fan, an A's fan, this is a set to get because a lot of the players that were part of that mid-1970s run for all three teams towards the World Series and the playoffs are available in a set. So again, on this beautiful Grammy Sunday, for me, 47 years I've been in love with this set. I pick up cards, the Opechi and the Topps version here and there every once in a while. And if anybody's listening to this podcast, you know where I live. If you have some extra 1972 cards you want to get rid of for free, I'll take them off your hands. I'm not hard to find. You know my number, look it up. So on this beautiful day again, we like to tell you, keep swinging for the fences. And as we like to say in Beldoon Moosehead mythology, we couldn't beat the Dodgers, but my God, we were just as cute as the players on that team. Have a good one. Bye.